Wow, this was a heavy movie. Talk about, being approached by it and kind of your desire to do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty extraordinary story, and as well as I think being a sort of amazing story of this mission as a thriller, there are some really heavy themes in it, and I was kind of primed for working on it because some of my family were Holocaust survivors, and my father was a refugee in the 1930s. And eventually a veteran. He served against the Nazis in World War II. So these kinds of issues were sort of the talk of the dinner table, for better or worse. But I felt quite prepared to take this on.
Yeah, and on that note, it says Sir Ben Kingsley in the press notes, he says, we got to tell this to the next generation who may not know all the details. Was that obviously a motive for you?
I think it's important to remember the Holocaust as something in history, certainly, and movies help do that. But I also think it's important to be vigilant for the possibility of heading down that path. I think as we see politics in the world today, we see the resurgence of the kind of nationalism and anti-democracy that Europe experienced in the 1930s. So it's not just a question of memory, it's a question of being able to scan the atmosphere around us.
Yeah, analyze what we're doing today, like, looking at the past and analyzing what I like that. And it's interesting that you guys portrayed him as, there's good elements of him, but he's a deeply evil guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what was the choice to do that?
The choice to portraying Eichmann as a human being and not just as a monster, I think was motivated by the fact that crimes like the Holocaust don't just take an insane demagogue at the top and devoted sort of ideologues, but normal people, sometimes ambitious people, careerist people, opportunist people, but people who love their kids, people who play the violin, people who like to eat and drink, people like you and me, who are motivated to do these things. That it's a warning.
And what can we look towards to do good instead of going down that path?
I think the interesting thing, because I did a tour of the Holocaust Museum in D.C. the other day, and what's interesting is that concerted opposition, resistance to these kinds of things has its effect, and a group of very few committed people can make a stand and actually affect the way that these things happen.
Yeah, well, I like they choose to do the right thing instead of just ending his life.
Right.
Why was that so important for them to take him to trial?
It was important for Adolf Eichmann to be taken to trial to demonstrate that the justice that was going to be levied on him was fair, was in a sense impartial. It was also important for Israel at the time to confront its memories, its sort of repressed memories of the Holocaust. It was, the trial was televised. It was the first time that the world saw eyewitness testimony of the Holocaust.